When they marched south from the landing, each man had their backpacks on, their knapsacks. They dumped those at the line of revetment prior to attacking the fort, so they didn't have to wear their knapsacks in the battle. Now, when you joined the Union Army at that time, you would have typically gone to what's called a camp of instruction. A camp of instruction is sort of like a boot camp, and that's where you would have learned how to carry the weapon, fire the weapon, and also how to march and be in the Army, basically. So what we're going to do now is show you a little bit of the close order drill.
Shoulder arms.
Shoulder arms is the one position that everything goes back to.
To the rear, open order, march.
Basically, he's opening the ranks so they don't hit each other with the muskets. This would have been done early in the war for recruits as well.
Right shoulder shift, arms.
Right shoulder shift would have been used when you're at a light run or marching. It gives it up off the shoulder and makes it a little bit easier to carry.
Shoulders, arms.
Once again, everything goes back to the shoulder.
Support, arms.
Support arms was usually done on guard duty when the weapon couldn't hit the ground, and so it just gets your right hand free. These weapons weigh about 10 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot until you're lugging it around half of Virginia.
Shoulder, arms.
Then everything goes back to the shoulder.
Secure, arms.
Secure arms was mainly done in inclement weather, so rain doesn't get down to the end of the barrel. Black powder and water don't mix very well. They mix really well into like a paste, and you won't be able to shoot it.
Shoulder,
so this keeps the weapon dry.
Arms. Present, arms.
Present arms would have done for field officers and also to the colors.
Shoulder, arms.
Now, after the soldiers learned how to carry the weapon, now they got to learn how to fire it and load it. So the common weapon that was used here at the Battle of Fort Fisher is this, the Model 1861 Springfield rifle. This was the AK-47 of the day, well, the M16 of the day. So this would have been the standard issue for United States troops by 1865. It's muzzle loading, which means everything has to go down the barrel. And we'll show you how that works. And how they would do it, is how to teach them, is called loading in 9 times.
Order, on.
Now, with loading in 9 times, you'll see each individual step it takes to load the weapon. In combat, they did not give all these commands. This was just to teach them.
Load.
First thing they're going to do is bring the weapon across to the front and reach around to grab a cartridge out of their cartridge box.
Handle, cartridge.
Paper cartridge goes up to the teeth. It's a paper cartridge with black powder and a ball inside of it.
Tear, cartridge.
Obvious, you got to tear off the top or else the powder's not coming out.
Charge, cartridge.
Now what they'll do is pour the black powder inside the top of the barrel like this, and then they would insert the mini ball, which goes in top, which is a projectile, lead projectile about yay big.
Draw, rammer.
Now, in order to get everything is up here right now, right? It's not going to fire very well up here. You need it down here. And so what they use is the rammers.
Ram, cartridge.
Now, you ram everything down to the bottom.
Turn, rammer.
Now, you got to return that rammer, or you'll fire once, and you'll have to go pick up your ramrod 200 yards downrange. You laugh, but early in the war, it happened a lot. Now, they'll bring it up to this position for the priming.
Prime.
Now, what they're using with priming is a percussion cap. It's a copper piece filled with fulminate of mercury. It's an explosive charge, sort of like a child's cap, but on steroids, a little bit bigger. All right, so that would go on the cone of the weapon right here.
Shoulder, on.
Now, what happens is when you pull the trigger, that comes down and smashes that cap, which creates a spark, which goes down inside the chamber and blows everything out.
Close ranks.
Very modern efficiency, isn't it?
Present, on.
All right. Now that the weapon is loaded, it would be you would have to do that each time you fired the weapon.
Shoulder, on.
Now, by then it would be second nature. By January of 1865, these men were veterans. They could load their weapon without even thinking about it, just muscle memory. 3 to 5 shots per minute, depending on the foulness of the barrel. 3 shots a minute was usually pretty accurate. These weapons could fire extraordinary distances with very good accuracy. So if you're within about 500 yards of this weapon, you can guarantee you'll probably get hit if somebody's a good shot and aiming at you. Now, once the soldiers learn how to fire their weapons and handle their weapons, they got to learn how to march. Now, what you're seeing right now is called a line of battle, company front. This is how they would fight, shoulder to shoulder, just like this. Now, the reason why they fought shoulder to shoulder seems silly nowadays, but what that would do is they would mash your firepower. These were leftover tactics from the 18th century, where the weapons were not very accurate. You had to mash your fire against the enemy and hope the lead hit something. By the Civil War, this was outdated tactics, but they still used them to mask their assaults. The Union and Confederate forces fought exactly the same tactics, the same weapons, in a lot of cases as well. So this is called marching by column, or column of 4s. So this makes it easier to get to point A to point B without everybody being in a major line. You can see they're marching, they brought it up to right shoulder shift to get it up off the shoulder.
By the left flank.
Left flank would be that they would turn to the left and then form their battle front. So say, for instance, Confederates are on their left and they're marching in column. They could do by the left flank and form a company front. This is one company. There would have been 10 companies in a regiment. At the beginning of the war, that's about 1,000 men. By the time of the Battle of Fort Fisher, you're looking at about 350 to 400 men at tops in a lot of the regiments that fought here. Now, some of the veterans here at the Battle of Fort Fisher, United States troops said this was some of the heaviest fighting they had been in. And these were veterans in the Battle of Gettysburg. So they said that the fighting at Fort Fisher was some of the hottest they had seen. It's unusual, but here at the Battle of Fort Fisher, most of the fighting was hand-to-hand combat.
This is Matt Bourne. I'm a photographer at the Star News. I'm out here at the 154th anniversary of the Battle of Fort Fisher. It's going on until 4 o'clock today. As you can just see that the demonstration, and I believe that was the company of the 117th out of New York. There's a variety of things going on throughout the day, from the uniformed infantry units that you just saw running drills to the camp life that you see right now. There's also a variety of speakers out here.